I know we're late for like 15 minutes. Hopefully people get to see. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see what's happening. We're gonna have to bring in the show real quick because we are here and we are hanging out with you. And we're just gonna do it a little bit this way. And all this stuff now want to pop up on my screen when we're trying to do things. Let's get this show on the road. It goes a little something like this. And why don't I hear the audio?
I can lip sync.
Something ain't right.
Hey, that's like
Can y'all hear us out there? If you can hear us, let us know. Send us a nice little message. But good morning. Welcome to the Saturday morning Indie Industry Shop Talk from the Black, presented to you by the Black Filmmakers Lounge. The Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, novelists, and professionals come together to gain insight and education through networking and discussing industry best practices that advance the Black independent film community. I'm your host, Michael Melville, with my co-host, Jacobi Simmons. The boys hanging out with us, doing what it is we do. And we appreciate each and every one of you who are hanging out with us today as well. We've had some technical difficulties this morning. So I'm going to the page. Yes, we are there. We do apologize if you are looking for us and you couldn't find us and you're like, where they at? Where they at? We were in trouble. My fault. I'll take all the blame from that because in order to be successful and when you're in charge of something, you gotta be willing to take the blame just as equally as the benefits. But yeah, it is what it is. We are here kind of to talk about, I don't know, what we watching, what we've been doing. What's up, brother?
ain't nothing, man. I'm sitting here taking it easy. You know.
So here's why we do have technical difficulties. Jacobi and I are actually hanging out. We are at the same location at the same time. He's just sitting across the table from me. I'm sitting across the table from him. Tamara TK Henderson, she couldn't be here today. She is on a flight to Texas. So Jacobi and I are hanging out, and he's on his trip to go to Morgan State, take care of some stuff. And we are we finally in person, face to face, hanging out, been talking this whole time. We should have been making sure the stuff
was set up early.
Yeah.
Hey, that's life, right?
Yeah.
C'est la vie.
So what's up, brother? How was your week, man?
My week was actually beautiful. I was on spring break. Had been on spring break. My wife actually had rotator cuff surgery.
Okay.
And I've been on daddy duty with her, making sure she got everything straight.
Gotcha.
Cooking. She can't drive, so I got to take her to everything. But
yeah,
there's no better pleasure, right?
You got everything. You're responsible for it all.
Yeah, and that's unusual because she holds me down. So now I gotta return the favor.
I had spring break last week,
Mhm.
so I was in Texas. So that's why we weren't on for these past 2 weeks because I was out and somewhere else, and I didn't know if I could connect. Which is, if I had tried where I was, maybe we'd have worked out the kinks. But no, this is good. This is good. So you're off this week.
Yes.
Dang, mine was last week. You're off this week, so yeah.
They do it. That's what New York, New Jersey all were the week before.
Okay, with us.
We always go the week after Easter. So we do Good Friday.
Okay.
And then Easter, then our spring break.
Yeah, we had Good Friday, but we were off Monday, but we were back. So we only had 4 days this week.
Because they merged Good Friday into your daggone spring break. See, they do it better because we get Good Friday off and then we get our spring break.
Yeah, but we got some breaks in between the week. Like
Oh,
next week, we're off Wednesday.
yeah, for Eid Fatir.
Yeah,
We're off too. Yeah.
yeah. And then the next week, um, we have a full week. But then the next week after that, we're off again on that Monday.
See,
So then, and then something else comes around. It's like I saw the schedule. It's like, oh, we got a lot off. Okay.
well, listen, brother. For me, once it's May, everything is over. You got to give out senior finals,
Oh yeah.
right? And so then all of this, when the seniors are gone, the whole building changes.
Oh yeah,
You
because
know,
the other kids think they're
yeah.
yeah.
And then I graduate May 23rd. So
Oh,
that's a week I'm gonna be
congratulations.
leaving early. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's almost
So
down
you're
here.
going there to graduate?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I didn't get a chance to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, my mom wants me to go. You know how that is.
We're gonna be alumni from the same school, bruh.
I know that's right. I'm having my little Willie.
Oh
Aren't
man.
you? Aren't you shirt?
I haven't got one yet. I need to get one.
All right. Well, when I go, I'll pick one up.
All right. AAU, yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just call
AAU.
themselves Art U though.
Art U? Is that
Yeah.
what it is? Because I know there's another school that's AAU,
Yeah.
right?
Well, sports, they do the AAU sport. And
Yeah. I was thinking about it. Like, wait, that sports?
yeah. And see, I work for the like I take my sports media class.
Okay.
And so we got to do a weekly radio show. Like I got to do a 1 minute report of my sport team.
Oh,
So that's where the Urban Knights, they're the Art U Urban Knights.
okay. And that's part of your program?
Yeah.
Everybody. You know, I was looking at that because I got to get another. I need 18 more credits.
Yeah. See, but I'm gonna need I got 6. After I graduate, I'm gonna need 6 to get my second pay bump.
Okay.
And I can't wait.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? What classes you gonna take then? What do
I
you
don't know. I was thinking about a cinematography course,
Okay.
or I might just take the editing course. Just to take the editing course.
They had us use Avid
But now they're
for
doing
editing.
Premiere. So
So
so that's interesting. Do you know that they're stopping so they're gonna stop supporting Media Composer?
the school or just
No,
period?
Avid is.
Oh.
They're gonna focus on Logic. Not is it Logic now?
Yeah, no, it's not Logic. You're talking about Pro
Pro Tools. They're
Tools.
gonna focus on Pro
Yeah.
Tools and music and
Okay.
audio stuff.
Which will be interesting because Avid used to be when we first got into this. Well, yeah, Avid was
Yeah.
it was Media 100, then
Mhm.
it was Avid, then
Media Composer. Because then they had
yeah,
all the news plugins that work
yeah,
for news. Right.
and then Premiere came. I got on Premiere, except it kept crashing.
Oh, see, I didn't use Premiere.
I use Premiere like I'm talking about like 3.1 or 2 point and 3 point when they had the horse going on the screen,
Oh, see, I don't
and
even
that's how
remember.
far back.
I started with Final Cut 1.
So I never used Final Cut until it became Final Cut 10.
Oh,
Well, okay. So Media 100 and Final Cut are a lot alike. So I think that Final Cut took over Media 100.
yeah. So it started to then I used Final Cut and it was Final Cut 7 was the last one.
Yeah,
And
before
then it
10.
jumped to 10 because it was so different. That's why they called it 10.
Mhm.
And then it worked like iMovie but weird. And then that's what made me go to Premiere Pro.
So Final Cut 10 I got on board because it reminded me of Sony Vegas. So I
Okay.
went from Premiere, I went from Avid to Premiere, then Premiere to Sony Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And Sony Vegas is only PC based. I was hoping they'd come over to Apple for a long time.
Mhm.
It's never happened. And then it got bought recently by Magix probably a few years back. So it's no longer Sony Vegas. So we just say Vegas.
Okay.
And the thing I liked about Vegas at the time was any file format could be on the same timeline without back rendering.
Oh wow.
Like I could drop it MOV, AVI, MP4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of them just was going in there, flash, and it was
Oh
working.
wow.
Yeah, it was working. And you could edit with them.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yo, this is, and it was, so the thing I liked about Vegas, I got on to Vegas because somebody put me onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can open up multiple windows and edit. So while one thing is rendering, you could be editing something else. So that's how I did my movie. While
Mm-hmm.
another scene was rendering,
Mm-hmm.
I would start working on a different scene.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that's how it goes. Oh, we got a Felicia, good morning. How you doing? Hey, we're doing Q&A today, by the way. We didn't even say we just started talking. So we hanging out in Maryland.
Hey, Felicia.
Felicia.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Felicia. I don't got the screen in front of me.
Well,
Get
man,
that.
say,
Hey, Felicia.
you know what? That's got to be our next thing is to get a monitor and then send
Oh
the
yeah.
signal over. I'm sorry, I got in this camera. My bad. Uh, that's what you happen. Like we got to now think of placement for everything. Because
Mhm.
normally we've been online for so long
Yes.
talking to each other. And we were just talking about finding a place, renting it out, putting the studio up to shoot stuff we want to do. And this would be one of them. So she said, hello, Jacobi. Pull it up on your phone.
Man, look, I don't have Facebook on my phone, and I didn't get a chance to do YouTube. I came to talk about movies, man, not to be on my phone.
All right. Because I can put you on the interview thing on the phone. You can get another angle. See, if you had a phone thing, we could have put you on two angles.
Yeah. Ah, shucks. Well, look. So hold on. Let me go back. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was learning to edit, this is before I even had a camera. I didn't even understand. I was looking at the book. I had the Final Cut Pro book by Apple,
Mm-hmm.
just doing the activities, but I still didn't learn because I didn't understand how all those things were put together. Oh, thank you, brother.
So they can see you now. I gave my iPad.
And
I was
so
trying to be
be nice.
stingy. He's like, give me the
There
iPad.
you go. Okay, there you go. I see you now. I see the comments now, Alicia. My fault. My fault. Um, and so I was editing. This is funny to me because I was editing and I had bought my tower. I had a
Mm-hmm.
Blueberry Mac. Um, and I was editing following the book, but I still didn't get it because I was doing what the book said. I
Okay.
didn't understand filmmaking or anything. And I had went from using iMovie and I had went. So what happened was, let me go back a little, take us 2 steps back.
Mm-hmm.
My fraternity, the Unknown Step Team, I'm a Sigma. We were doing a step show and they wanted an intro for the Greek picnic.
Okay.
So we went at Fairmount Park. We took a little handy cam and shot this intro, and it was a karate movie type thing
Mm-hmm.
where the master was walking through the woods and he ran into an alpha and how he defeated him. Then he ran into a kappa and he defeated
Starting
him.
trouble already.
Yeah, but that's how the intro was. And then, and so I had to shoot it and then I had to edit it.
Okay.
And that's when I started really falling in love with making movies. And then, so I went from that and went and had got on the server and got Final Cut One and bought the book and was editing and editing and editing. I still didn't understand none of like what they were talking about. I didn't have a frame of reference, a
Okay.
context, or anything, and so I never really still understood
Okay.
what was going on until way, way later. And I shot my first. I was a PA on my first film called The Negro Zone,
Okay.
and they took it back since I'm the only one that had a real editing system because I
Mm-hmm.
was taking my little teacher money and getting my stuff. They came back to my house and edited, and that's how I learned by watching and toiling,
Okay.
and playing around. Because I didn't know to go shoot. Like now, I know I need to shoot first, plan, and then take it back and edit with a concept. I just was in the house trying to put clips together with no, and you didn't have like basketball mixtapes. You didn't have YouTube where you can get video or all that
Right.
stuff. You would just whatever video was on the CDs or the DVDs is all the video that you had to use.
Yeah, I was my editing actually started a little earlier than that. So it was before the computer. I was using AB roll
Mm-hmm.
when I worked at the TV station at Howard Community College. I had my internship there, and I was using a deck,
Mm-hmm.
and so they would have us edit, take a movie because they have their own channel. So we get the movie, and then we look for the black to put in the commercial breaks,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll all be going from deck A, B to a C deck,
Mm-hmm.
and we would add the videos in between and all that, and then have it play again. And I had to find all that stuff and edit it that way. In school, I used the AB roll, but as a kid, I had multiple VCRs together. I went to school. I went to Oklahoma High School, and there's a cat. You guys know him, Aaron Magruder.
Mm-hmm.
He created Boondocks, and Aaron and I had to do our Black Studies project, which is Black in Media.
Mhm.
So even before then, we were talking about how our image was in media. And we had the VCR, we'd stop, we took scenes from New Jack City, Boys in the Hood, and all that stuff. And we even got in trouble a little bit, not real trouble, but we accidentally left some profanity in there. So we had to go re-edit it and fix that. And we were like, we just need another VCR. And we had it. I mean, we were at his house when we set it up. And yeah, that was our project for like our capstone project in middle school when it
Mhm.
came through for Black Studies. And that's that was cool. But I'd collected so many VCRs and I got my first, I didn't get my first video camera until I was going to Bowie State.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was at Howard Community College using their equipment, but my brother bought me a video camera, and then um, that's when I got into computer editing. I
Mhm.
bought this home version of Avid
Mhm.
from Best Buy, and we had this Toshiba computer where you can plug in a camera to with the RCA connections, but then we put a new card in there which you can do FireWire.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that, and then I started editing videos that I was shooting at college.
Mhm.
Right, I made a documentary, never showed it, about college dating life and what women want. Right, so like all these girls are probably like, "Where's that video Michael did?" you know, but I still have the footage and all that stuff,
Mhm.
and I just never had the time to put it together. But then I just started working on short films and doing stuff, and I did my very first actual short film. What I wrote, filmed it was school, college,
Mhm.
and then when I after I graduated, it was a few years afterwards. I got into my first film festival, and that's what just ignited me to keep moving. Because before then, I was shooting videos for other people,
Mhm.
and I was, going to poetry, spoken word events, and filming that for people. Um, I was being creative with it, and I could edit, do trailers for people. So I was doing something for other people, but I wasn't doing anything for me.
Mhm.
And then I started taking my spoken word and making videos with it, right? And then somebody told me about a Red Bull contest.
Mhm.
Eric Ford, he worked at Job Corps with me, and he was like, "Hey, um, there's this contest Red Bull is putting on, but you got to pitch your idea, and it's called an elevator pitch, and you got to use the theme of the elevator in your film and all this stuff." And there was like over 100 submissions, and we were like the top 10 semifinalists.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the pitch, you had to do a video telling them. So what I did is I did a storyboard,
Mhm.
and while I was talking, because you only got 60 seconds, I incorporated some of the storyboard into the pitch
Mm.
when I was telling about it. So I think that's kind of because they were like, nobody else did that. So
See, that's dope. See, for me, like we still shoot. So I have a lot of friends that are in the industry,
mhm.
um, and they're doing a variety of things from Philly, where I started.
Okay.
And some are actually teaching is what kind of sucked me in because the stability of teaching. So I tell people sometimes don't be comfortable.
Yeah.
Take because I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't take the risk. So like I have a friend that's she's a very um good voice actress and
Mhm.
she reads books. So like if you listen to Audible and a lot of um female characters or
Okay.
woman characters, she does a lot of those books or reads for the woman, some of the saucy stuff,
Right.
right? But she's also been she's been in Marvel, right? But
Okay.
she also was in my first feature,
Okay.
right? Gospel in Wonderland, if you can ever find it, is the first feature. I work with my friend Sean Isley, who's actually working in Hollywood right now. Um,
Mm. Is that on Amazon?
no, no, we didn't put it out. It's on YouTube somewhere though.
Okay.
It was the very, very beginning of YouTube. I also did a documentary, which is funny. I did a documentary on the Cowboys in Philly. So
Okay.
you know how they had the movie?
Yeah.
We did the documentary maybe 10 years
Before that.
before that.
Oh
I
wow.
gotta look
Okay.
it up. You may look up Isley Films
Mhm.
because he was a co-producer. We worked on those together. Um, we also had so like the Negro Zone I told you,
Mhm.
and so like each thing started to spiral into getting bigger. Then we did Computer Love, which I think they're working on getting it on Amazon Prime because we do have one called Swing the Movie that's on Amazon Prime now.
Okay.
And I've been with the same guys most of the time. Like Sean left, there's a few DPs that are in Hollywood right now
Hmm.
that started from some of the things that we did or we inspired them. And so they moved on. One of my friends is Nakia Dillard,
Okay.
who's the father of and most people in Philly know him, but he's the father on what's that show? I watch it too now. I feel
Wonder
the Wonder
Years.
Years. So
Yeah.
he's the girl's father.
Okay.
That's one
Yeah.
of my
Yeah.
close friends, and we started. He started with like,
Because I think Tamia is the mother,
see, I don't know her.
or she's been on a show. She's been on a TV show. She's out of Austin.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Tamika.
and so
If
those
I'm
are
saying
the
it right.
they've inspired me, and even now, like I had my first son. That's what pulled me out.
Yeah. Okay.
I had my first son. I had to secure my family situation and get that, and so I slowed down. And now coming back, it's been great to come back and to do the things that I'm able to do, and they still like I get a text from the kid like, "Come on, man,"
So
you know
we
what I
got
mean?
a question on YouTube. It says from Mark Rule Media, says, what movies have either of you done that you could recommend for people to watch on a streaming channel? So everybody, Jacobi's on
Amazon Prime.
Amazon. My film is, I think you might be able to find it on YouTube somewhere.
Uh,
um, Called Broken, and it was a 2 hour. I mean, not 2 hour, like an hour and 50-minute film. I know I had it on Vimeo for a minute to
mhm,
rent, and so everybody's not on the same like streaming platforms. We're not,
yeah,
I haven't gone to Tubi, though I was going to take a project to Tubi, but I decided not to.
yeah.
Do have a web series that is actually probably much better than Broken, because I've improved. Like, you're only as good as your last project, so my work has improved since then. Broken, I am is on Facebook, and it's you can only see it on Facebook actually, but you can always go to iamwebseries.com and watch some of it or get a link to some of the short the it's a series, so some of the episodes.
Yeah. I,
um
I got also there's a movie I was a DP on that's on Tubi.
okay.
Um, I guess my mind goes blank. I feel really stupid. End of the line. End of the line
Okay.
is the pilot for a web series. I was a DP on the first episode. I think they're actually working on the second episode now. And you can check like choices, but you got to type in choices Jacoby Simmons. That's on YouTube.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember if there's anything else.
So what we wanted to do, even though TK's not here. What's up, Thomas? How you doing? Crystal, how you doing? We wanted to open up for Q&A. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to know, it's one of those improv moments today, just because we're coming back from a lot happening, and we just wanted to give y'all a chance to come and hang out and ask questions. Now, I get this often. I don't know if you get it often. Actually, there's two questions I get often. Let's see if you get them often. One, what camera do you use and why?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then two, what editing software do you prefer? Why? Um, and so, disclaimer, it's not the camera, it's the user.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that now. It depends on what you're creating that the camera will matter. Um, because I was in Best Buy one time talking to a guy. He was like, "Yeah, I want to vlog and I want to talk about stuff, but I'm gonna get me a red camera." And I was like, "You're gonna spend the money on a red camera to do a vlog?" Yeah, MKBHD does it. Yeah, well, MKBHD started with this cheap camera when he was a kid, and
Mm-hmm.
he built up to building his um
Channel.
channel to the point. Yeah, he has a red cam, but he also has a C100 Mark II. He also has a C70. He also has a FX. Like,
He has a whole studio.
yeah,
He
yeah,
has a robotic motion robot and all these other stuff.
yeah. So like, it's not, when I tell people, it's not about what you start with. It's how do you use what you start with. Like, you can
Mm-hmm.
use. I mean, I'm be real. This Joker right here, this is my iPhone, by the
Yeah.
way. I like my little cover, but this right here shoots in 4K. It has now Apple Log. It
Yeah.
does ProRes. It has a USB-C on it, and You can actually shoot for the Apple Vision Pros with this now too as well, because of the setup of the lenses.
Oh yeah.
Um, so it'll let you get that 3D image VR. So it's not that camera, because you can shoot some really good stuff if you got the audio, the lighting, those tools. But my camera personally that I enjoy using right now is a Canon C70, and then right now I'm shooting this with my R7 on my side on me. He's using his camera. He'll tell you what they are because he has his arsenal. He's had several arsenals since I've
Yeah,
known him.
yeah. Because the thing that Mike is essentially saying, and I think there's one thing that there's a caveat to it that people don't like. So cinematographers are sometimes arrogant, right? They don't want to say that the tool is really good because if you're saying the tool is really good, that's taken away from the technique and skill of the cinematographer. But where I add a caveat is that better tools make the job easier to get better stuff, right?
Mhm.
And then you also have to look at um what are you doing what works for you. I've had every camera in the mid range almost from in the $6,000 range, we'll say. I had almost every setup from a C70, whatever that whole generation was
Mhm.
that came out 5 or 6 years ago, the C70, the red Komodo, and the FX6. I had each one, right?
Yeah.
They are all amazing cameras. You can ask Mike, I've told him how great that each of them were. But for what I was trying to do, the FX6 made my life easier. And it worked for what I was trying to do. I was doing sports videography and documentary work. And the C70's image isn't better than the Sony's, but the Sony's isn't better than the C70's. But for sports and what I was doing, the ergonomics and the speed of the FX6 was a lot better. I love the red image, but you need a lot of hard drives.
Yeah.
Like you need a lot of hard, and it's slow for what I'm doing. And then sometimes you need autofocus. The autofocus wasn't that bad,
Okay.
but it wasn't a Sony, right?
Mm.
And so when you get into the game, it's like, okay, like if I was shooting a short,
Mhm.
the red wouldn't have bothered me as much. If I was doing just slow moving documentaries in a sense,
Oh, interviews and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it wouldn't have bothered me. Even if I was out doing a little bit of running gun, but nothing moves as fast as sports, where stuff just starts and stops and goes, and you gotta switch, or because like my setup is so customized. If I want to go super slow,
Mhm.
I hit a button and I'm in super slow. I could have never did that on the red, where it moved that quickly. Like the red, when you hit the settings, when you switch a setting, it shuts down and then restarts.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't help. Like I could be sitting there waiting for a play to start, but then it's a fan reaction, right? Or something else going at the game, or I'm at the HBCU games, the band, the cheerleaders. Like it's a whole experience. And so if you're not ready, even when you hit record on the red, it's slow.
Yeah. I would think when I used the red, it was the MX,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the big boy. Like the lens was massive. And I was running B cam on the set, and the battery didn't last long. Like the battery, I think you got 20 minutes out of the
Mm-hmm.
drive. No, the battery's 15. The drive was 20, right? And we were taking the drive out, giving it to the person, putting a new drive in. They had to go log it and transfer it. And so you're looking like, and I'm thinking in my head, like this is a lot of work to shoot scenes
Mm-hmm.
within a time period. You're always taking the drive out. You need somebody to bring you a new battery to put on. And I was kind of turned off from that,
Mm-hmm.
right? The Komodo uses the Canon battery now, but and it lasts longer, but it's still the red is its own thing. But I wonder with Nikon taking it over, what's going to be different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the red didn't have an ND filter. Canons all had ND filters built in. If you use
Mm-hmm.
any cinema camera from
Yeah.
Canon, um, even my first Canon, I had the Canon. My first cameras I bought was a Canon GL2 and
Mm.
a Canon XL2. That's how far back I started.
Yeah.
right? And I shot my first movie on the XL2 and the GL2. Like the GL2 was my B cam, and the
Mm-hmm.
XL2 was my A cam, and because you could shoot it in 24 frames per second.
Uh-huh.
You had 16:9, so you got that film effect, that film feel to it, and the quality was really good for it for what it does. I made mistakes because comments asked a question. We're gonna roll that real quick. Said, "What is the lowest budget you're comfortably with to do a full feature?" My first feature film, currently my only, I spent 50 grand. I refinanced my house, and I took out money and I spent 50 grand to make it. Did I get 50 grand back? No. I got into about 5 film festivals. I
Mm-hmm.
won honorable mention for best feature. I got um, another one. I got second place at another film festival. It was a faith-based film, so it was very. I knew my audience.
Mm-hmm.
We got a church we used. We filled the church to capacity. About over 210 people came through. And then the extras were me and the crew and people who were involved. My mistakes in shooting it was I shot it mostly by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had a boom mic on a stand instead of somebody listening to it. Um, it was just so many mistakes I made. I didn't have a small, like, I think I should have had at least a crew of 5 people to help me out because I was trying to do everything. You can't do
Yeah.
everything, right? How did it turn out? It turned out decent. Was it great? No, but it was good for my first feature because it taught me a lot. It was $50,000 worth of a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I
That's
would tell
grad
you
school.
today is, yeah, it definitely was grad school. but what I would tell you today is I could have spent 10, 15 grand on that film.
Uh, I only spent about 700.
On a film, on a
Yeah.
feature?
So, so we had cause we had a friend circle. Like they went to
Okay.
Temple Film School.
Mhm.
So we had a small crew. But then I also was working with a guy who kind of ran the neighborhood,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So he was able to lock down the locations. We were in a pretty rough area, but it was cool and comfortable. Except people were jacking our stuff at the snack table. They were going
Oh,
down and
eating
eating our
our
food.
food.
But yeah, cause I already had a camera. The biggest thing back then is tape. Remember, you
Yeah.
didn't have cars. You had to go buy tapes.
Yeah.
That was the biggest expense was buying,
DV tapes and
yep,
stuff. Yeah.
the DV tapes to shoot. But this guy, it's Gospel in Wonderland, the one that's on YouTube. If you go,
Okay.
I think it's Isley Productions, Eyezly Productions on YouTube. Me and Sean shot that short film probably for about $500 to $700,
Mm.
and that was and so what I would say now, it's depends. Like it really, there's so many people into the game. Like it wasn't when I first started, but now almost anybody wants to act. And then once you get into a community, that's how you cut costs. Like we got friends
Yeah.
who do sound, and they come and do sound. Like I shoot. So whenever whenever my friends want to shoot a movie or we get ready to shoot, like I'm actually DPing a movie in June. We call each other. Like,
Mm.
yo, you free on Sunday? Yeah, well, look, I'm trying to shoot something. Come down. Bring your stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Yo, Nakia, because Nakia has a film school called Aiken Act, and he does
Okay.
a phenomenal job. Hey, Nakia, I need a woman, 35 to 25, about 5'3". You got one for me? And he sends me headshots. And he just asks, what's the budget? Hey, look, we doing something for fun, so it doesn't have to be the best actress, but give me the best you can get within,
Yeah.
that wants to get some footage. And that's how we do now. Um, Sometimes my friend Atif, and Atif, so this is funny about I love Atif, but Atif is huge, like muscles and
Hmm.
tall. So a lot of times he's in movies and you don't see his head
Wow. Okay.
because like um he was in that 50 Cents movie. I forget what it was called.
Oh, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yes, and he
Okay.
was one of the thugs on the street. So when 50 walks by him, but 50 is so small to him, you don't see him. He's just looking back at him. Or he's a football player in a commercial or something like that. Or like
Okay.
even if you go to Canton,
Hmm.
they use the bust of his body to make some of the football players.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because he's huge.
Wow.
and he's a good actor. He's no, and so anyway, let me get back on track.
No, you cool.
So we work in that vein. So I mean, it just depends, because I mean, like you could say, look, I got $500. I'll pay the key people, and there's so many people who want to be a part of the game. The
Mm.
biggest issue for me is always locations. Getting the right location is the biggest struggle.
For me, locations were easier than people, which
Uh,
is odd. But I negotiate. Like when we did the web series, every location, like a restaurant or office or business that we used, we I did a commercial for them on the end of the web series,
mhm,
right? If I use somebody's product in there, we did a commercial for it. It's just, talk about it real quick.
mhm,
And we used the gym. The gym was like, hey, yeah, you can shoot here, not a problem. They signed a release forms, everything. And we just shot a video like, come to the gym, da 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 da, let the manager get on there, and he was cool with it.
mhm,
Um, so that's how I kind of negotiated some locations. When I did my feature film, I had people who were like, hey, I could connect you to this person. They were like, yeah, you can use it. I'd say, I just need this signed. It's a release form. So I don't, everybody signed it and didn't really have a problem with it. I walked into one restaurant by the lake in Columbia.
mhm,
They were like, yeah, we'll let you shoot here. You can do it right now. Now they had a little traffic, but we shot in such a way because we didn't need a whole bunch of the footage. We just needed a little bit of it anyway. And they signed off on it,
mhm.
So you kind of had, and they didn't charge us. They're like, if you buy some food or something, we cool. Like,
Wow.
you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're shooting a film, some people are like, put my sign in it,
Mhm,
let them know you exist. And so I think those were about the relationship. I think getting housing, like people's homes, that might have been a little bit of the hardest, but I had friends who were like, yo, you can shoot here. Or somebody lived in an apartment. They were like, yeah, you can do this. So that kind of worked out. I think the key somebody said is talk to realtors a long time ago. They're like, yeah,
mhm,
get with realtors. They know properties that people, and then the film commissions are another way to go. So
mhm,
I'm learning that things. But I always, everything I've done has been because of a network.
mhm,
I think that's what some filmmakers miss is build the network because you especially with other filmmakers, you're so busy promoting a film that you don't realize, no, I don't need to go to a film group and promote my movie. I need to
mhm.
go to a film group and build a network,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to come promote their stuff.
And that is because they operate in pockets,
Yeah.
right? And at one time, I'm gonna tell you, like, people, like, I do get frustrated when
Mhm.
people say all black people, or
Yeah.
like, or our people don't do this, our people don't do that, or because when I was in Philly and I was really in the middle of filmmaking,
Hmm.
right? Everybody worked together. Now, what the problem was, and I think people misunderstand that, they say sometimes black people always want something cheap or to take advantage. What I realize is sometimes until they get in the game fully, they don't understand the cost
Yeah.
of what it is. So when they're telling you what their budget is, it's honestly what they have or what they think they can afford. But they don't realize, like, when you tell people, like, I got an FX30 that I'm shooting on now, like right now, like
Hmm.
that's 1,500. For
Yeah.
me to bring that out, right, isn't really expensive per se. It might be $100 a day.
Hmm.
But if I bring my FX6 out and it goes up to 250 to 300 just for the body, not the lenses,
Right.
then then they, oh, you trying to get over? Like, nah, bro. This is how much my stuff costs. I got to bring it out. There's danger of it getting broken. There's all these other things, and
Hmm.
there's cost for use. So when you rent when you buy a cinematographer or a DP or a videographer to come to your event, you're hiring him and his skill,
Right. You're
right?
not hiring the equipment. That's what I tell
Yes.
people. Like I wouldn't. You got to understand. I have degrees in this. I have experience in it. I've been doing it for a while. I know what I'm talking about. I teach this. And so I'm coming to your thing and you're saying, hey, do this. And I'm like, okay, what do you got? Like I had a guy hit me up one time. He's like, I need you to DP. I said, so you've seen my work,
Mm,
right? Cause I put my reel on my page, on my Instagram page and my YouTube and all that. And he's like, yeah, I like your work. I like your style. I said, okay. My budget's 200. 200 what? $200. For how long is the shoot? What's this? What's this? I told him, I said, I'll come and consult for $200, but I'm not shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your camera person? Who's your, I'll help them do all this stuff. But if I'm actually shooting, it's going to cost a little bit more than that. And then I was like, well, what equipment do you have? Your equipment.
Yeah.
Nah, dog, my camera don't, I got a $5,000 camera. I got this $1,000 camera. I got this camera, lights, mics, all this stuff. You're trying to use my equipment. That's a different cost than me.
And they don't understand, like, if I drive a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing people don't understand about the technical part of filmmaking. If I drive a car, I'm putting mileage on it, which is depreciating the cost or incurring damages,
Right.
regular use damages.
Yeah.
And you're becoming part of that use. So when you rent the camera, those are the things you're paying for also. Because I
Mm-hmm.
got to have insurance, I got to repair it. There's all these other things that go along with shooting it. And so that's sometimes the tricky. So to get back and keep this kind of short is that
Okay.
I don't think people are trying to take advantage. They really just don't understand until they get in the situation. And then you actually do have guys that say, I'll do it for 200.
Yeah.
But they don't know what you're asking for. Like my wedding,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I love the guy, but we paid $500 and it was like last minute. And he took the pictures of my wedding.
Okay.
Right. But then my sister paid close to 3 grand for the photographer for her wedding. I got a bunch of digital photos. Right. She got this leather bound book that needs to be in
Yeah.
um a weather sealed room,
Mm-hmm.
and this fantastic layout and the whole spread of everything. And that's the difference. And people don't, now you say you want a great piece of work when you create your film, but you don't completely understand what investing in it really, really means.
Yeah.
And so that's how I look at it. I don't think, and I think a lot of times when people say we just want to do this, or they really, really don't understand. Like me and Lou, like I talked to Lou, and Lou gets so frustrated. But people don't really understand the time that it takes or the technique it takes to
Right.
build a package. And then the better you get, the faster you get, right?
Yeah.
So now if I do something that's really hard and it normally would take me 2 hours, it takes me 1 hour. Does that mean I did less work? Or does it mean my price should go down? No.
Yeah.
And that's what you only took 5 minutes. Because I'm good, brother.
Yeah. You're hiring skills. You're
Yeah.
hiring people based on their skills
Yeah.
and their knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who doesn't know the software takes longer because I know where everything is.
Yeah.
I know pull this up to this, or I have that plus plugins plus this that I've invested in. And
Mm-hmm.
when I say to somebody, they're like, well, how much you charge to edit? I'm like, this much per hour, or it depends on this project, or for this project is this much. How much footage you got? I got to log your footage. I got to do all
Yeah.
this stuff. And it's not easy. It's time consuming
Mm-hmm.
when you got to do stuff that you're not doing,
Yeah.
or the person's not doing. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, Renita. So just saying what's up to y'all. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we do apologize. We came on late because of technical difficulties. But we do know that Jacobi got to get down the road and stuff too as well. And we wanted you guys if you got a question, you got 5 minutes?
I got time.
You got time? All
Yeah.
right. We'll answer some questions. But again, I think that's the part where you get into this and people want to, because there are mistakes that people lowball people. And I've seen this. I'm going to give y'all, because this is a topic that's going to come up later on here. Platforms are the new thing. And I joined Fanbase. I've joined some other platforms to shift things over. We'll probably be using Fanbase at some point for the Black Filmmakers Lounge once that page is fully set up. But what we notice is if something's worth having or being a part of, it's worth paying for, right? I always say this line from Martin. It may not cost you a little, may not cost you a lot, but it'll cost you.
Yeah.
And that's what I operate under that. Like, it's going to cost you. But what I'm noticing is the influx of all these upstart platforms, and they're coming with contracts and stuff. One, as a content creator, meaning I create and provide content, I will never pay a fee unless I'm renting out a movie theater, maybe submitting to a film festival, because those are ways of accolades. And movie theater means I'm getting paid back,
Mm-hmm.
and I run it. I'm in charge when it comes to the movie theater. I mean, I sell tickets, whatever, whatnot, right? So I'm in charge of so much. In the return, the greater return comes back to me,
Mm-hmm.
not the lesser return, not a mediocre return, the greatest return, which is 100%. Because if I rent out a movie theater, I use my money and I'm getting 100% return. The movie theater and I aren't splitting anything unless they're leasing and licensing my movie and giving me theater for a certain fee or cutting a lot of costs. But what I see is new platforms popping up and they're like, oh, we'll charge you to be on our platform and you got to go get viewers. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what the new trick is too?
What was up?
Distributors.
Yeah.
Because Tubi has made it difficult to just upload your stuff now. So
Mhm.
you almost got to go through a distributor.
Well, I remember the aggregators, but they took a fee up front, but they didn't
Mm-hmm.
get any money on the back,
But it's still
right?
like for them to get your film. Think about this though. Like you
Mhm.
said, if I four wall my film, whatever I invest, I can get in return.
Yeah.
Right. There. Think about now if you had to four wall your film, but you had to pay somebody to get you to four wall it.
Mhm.
Right. Why do I need this man in the middle?
Yeah, I'm a very extreme person of cutting out the
Yeah.
middleman.
And
No
that's what the
offense if you are a
aggregators are.
middleman or salesperson, but but the aggregator is necessary because they're distribution. They become the distribution
Yes.
company. But I was trying to tell people form a distribution company.
But I got a question. So
Uh-huh.
this is a good conversation.
Okay.
Why do I need a distribution company on those platforms when I can go through the process of uploading it to each
Because the
platform?
platforms don't want they want to only talk to distributors instead of the person direct. So
That's
they
the
create you have to create the distribution. They're
yes.
going after let's just be real. Platforms, real legitimate platforms, Netflix, Tubi, all of them, they're going off of old Hollywood standards. They
Mm-hmm.
are straight to you got to go through and in order for us to distribute, we need to talk to your distributor.
Yeah.
That's I mean, same thing with a company. If you have a product you're selling, right, and you want to get it in the stores,
Mm-hmm.
you go through a distributor who orders X amount, who takes it to the stores and gets it in.
But let's look at what is the distributor really?
There really are middlemen, but they're kind of like they're looking at bulk because here's what happens. And I learned this when I first
Mm-hmm.
did my first feature and I was selling DVDs and everything, trying to get in bookstores and stuff. Like some bookstores would be like, yo, we'll take them in here, but we won't buy them from you. You can consignment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm sorry, aggregator. Sorry. So what happens is on consignment, if I come back, they sign off. This is how many I gave them 10, 20, whatever. And when I come back, whatever's not up there, they got to pay me out for.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can say we take a small percentage, but you get most of the money because
Mm-hmm.
you're using our store to get our customers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I can work with that. I probably wouldn't do anything above 20% or 30% with them at
Mm-hmm.
all because I'm putting them in there and you're not buying anything.
You
Now,
paying rent.
yeah, I'm paying rent or space and I can see that working, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I sell more out the trunk of my car than going into a store. I just got to sell better or I sell more through my website. So I had to sell better. So my system shifted where I said, all I need is people telling people about the movie and getting them to buy the DVD right there on the spot. And I'll say, hey, it's $20, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they got the DVD with the cover, everything. So I did a deal with some of the actors and some other people I knew. And I just said, hey, for every DVD you sell up to this amount, I'll give you $2. If you surpass this amount, I'll add it to $3 per DVD. If you
Mm-hmm.
get past this amount, I'll make it 4. So what happened? People became salesmen, but they were getting paid,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as soon as they put the money, they sent me all the money. I then turned around, calculated it, their sales, and I sent them their money right back through like PayPal or something, right? Or transfer to the bank account. And that's commission based, but that got people, they got talking because you had a sales force now.
That
And
became the
it's really
market.
network marketing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But it benefited me. Like in one weekend, we sold 300 DVDs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know what I mean? I'm in 300 houses. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
as a filmmaker, your objective is to get into homes and get people looking.
But see, now with the digital age, right? The overhead for cost, because the distributor, you was hoping that they would reproduce your
Right.
stuff, but now the distributor has a file that they upload to a
Right.
platform,
And
and all
it's
the
no overhead.
distributors is validation. If you get a distributor, you paid a little bit extra, got a little validation, so they put it in, and they put it to Tubi, Amazon Prime, or all these other places,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pain, but it's also gatekeeping.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We have to also decide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that so we always had YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
we got Patreon, fan base, Vimeo.
Mm-hmm.
I used Vimeo at first too, and people were paying to watch it digitally,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's now marketing for us. It really comes down to us marketing.
That's been the key all the time, and
Right.
we haven't figured. Not all. I shouldn't say we, because I hate when other people do. But we have to,
Some of us.
yeah, have to figure out. Like, I'm not a good marketer.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. So when I ever get back into doing full, I have to set up a whole system or pay somebody else to do the marketing campaign, because I know what I'm not going to do.
Right. And you know what's interesting? But I've been in business doing other stuff before I did the film thing. So marketing was my first thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's two plans I was taught because I'm a business minor.
Mm-hmm.
I had to write a business plan and a marketing plan for whatever I do. Right. Um, when I said I was putting my movie out, I had all places I was going. Nothing's guaranteed. Like that's the first mistake people think. It's gonna be guaranteed. You're gonna do this. No, I knew my movie didn't have the chance of making $1 million, but it had the possibility of making $1 million. It just depends on how I ran it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it do that? No, it didn't make $1 million. It didn't even. It barely got me back any money that I spent.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the most, I probably financially gained probably a third of what it cost me to make the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now we're not even talking about the film festival costs, all the other stuff too. So it's getting me that money back too, because I put that in there, except I did learn. Like one film festival cost me $5,000 for the week. Like got a hotel, you got to fly and get there. You're not looking at all those costs because no one says anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No one says this, hey, film festivals cost this, or there's a possibility just because you spent $50, $60 to get your film in the festival. Once you get in, it doesn't mean you'll get in the festival.
Because you made me think, because we actually won a film festival in England, right? All of us ain't get to go,
Right.
right? And we've been in festivals in the islands, like all over. And so when you said that, it never clicked until you just said it. All the other costs that go into being a part of the film festival circuit.
Yeah. So we don't talk about that. We
Yeah.
don't talk about how to promote, right? Like, I'll be real. When I did my first feature, which is like currently, like I said, my only feature, but I got a bunch of scripts, right? We're gonna start working. That's the funny thing. But like, after I did my first feature, the first thing I told myself is, I'll never just post a trailer to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get television time.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not getting TV time? People watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
I should pay for ad space, and I should know my markets. So if I know, and I'm just going to say this, I'm a Black filmmaker. I make content that are stories about Black people. Other people watch them, but this is my main character is usually Black. That's my choice. That's my niche market, right? My audience may be watching TV One, Aspire. If it's about sports, ESPN, right? They're probably watching BET. So in your local cable market, you go to your Comcast or Comcast Xfinity or Amazon. I mean, Verizon, AT&T, There's another one I can't remember. Time Warner has them. Um, AT&T is Time Warner. Something else. Uh,
Cox Cable and
Cos,
a,
yeah, yeah. There's a
there's
Cox
a
Cable,
bunch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so you go in those markets, and they'll sell you ad time and
Mm-hmm.
space, and they'll tell you how much. They'll tell you how much you got to put in. It can range. I remember, and I might definitely be more now because this was a few years back. But like AT&T told us, we can start you off at 750,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like 3 cents to show it here, or $3 for here, $2 for here. Oh, prime time, that's going to cost you more, a lot more money to put it in there. And it's running along with other commercials, but it's only running in that market,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not nationally,
Yeah.
so it's a lot cheaper. Nationally, it's going to be very expensive. But if I know that my audience is in Atlanta, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, um, somewhere in New Jersey, New York, Philly,
Mm-hmm.
um, let's say
Not
Oakland.
not in Montana.
Yeah, yeah, not in Montana, right? If I know my audience is in these pockets
Mm-hmm.
and or surrounding areas, then I go to the cable stations and I find out the cost. We're not putting that cost in our budget first. Yeah, I get a 1 minute trailer. Let's say I do a 1 minute trailer, a 2 minute trailer, and let's say even I do a teaser that's
Mm-hmm.
about, I don't know, 30 seconds, right? Then I pay for each one of those to get into those markets. The more people see it, they legitimize it mentally.
Mm-hmm.
We know this. This is why studying marketing is so important. Now, because everybody wants to go to the free places. "Oh, I just want to throw it on a Facebook page. I just want to put it in this group. It's not your market."
Well, here's the thing, because I do got to get ready to
Yeah,
run,
yeah, yeah.
but I want to say this. That is because, and I was one of those filmmakers.
Mhm.
I was just happy to make my movie,
Right.
right?
I think
And
we all
so
are.
all of us, everybody doesn't, because now the filmmaker I was in 2003 isn't the mindset of the filmmaker I had then. And I wish I had the mindset now if I go back, because I would reconsider a lot of the things and how because I was cavalier. Just wanted to make the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care where it got shown. Most of the time we did four wall our own,
Right.
productions. And so, and what four wall means is just like he said, we bought out a theater. Um, we charge everybody to come in,
Mm-hmm.
and once they come in, we get the gate, um, minus whatever we paid for the renting the movie theater. Um, and so and so when people's happiness is there,
Mm-hmm.
they don't think about really the benefit of the movie. Like the
Right.
making the money, the other aspects. And so as I grew, then I understood. And sometimes we got people that we have all these people. And what I don't, and I have to go on this, but what I don't like are these people who've been in the game for years, have all this knowledge, and then talk down to everybody just gaining instead of sharing it with an understanding of how it is. And there's a lot of stushy filmmakers that are like that
Mm-hmm.
and judge younger people in the game. And I don't mean by age, but just by experience in making film.
Right.
And I think that's what's most hurtful to filmmaking,
Mm.
because there's no real exchange of that generational knowledge, and there's judgment placed in it. And then once you start judging, nobody wants to deal with you, or the younger kids don't want to fool with you because you the cranky old man that doesn't want to try anything new, that's always old or complaining, or makes me feel like I'm a piece of crap because I don't have the experience or the knowledge that you have, when you can just share it with me and help me gain a different perspective.
And I think that's where that networking, that circle building comes in play. Because I used to, this is, and before we go, this is my mentality. We can do it as a big group. We can all come together and make this.
Yeah.
It can't. I'm just going to be honest. My people in America
Mm-hmm.
can't come together as a large group.
Mm-hmm.
They can come together in small pockets
Yeah.
right now. Now I said right now, things could change. People mindsets could shift. But because there's different facets of everybody and their beliefs and
Mm-hmm.
ideas, you have to find like-minded grinders who are ready to be in the same pocket and be willing to listen to each other. It's like let's just think about it. You have to have a round table
Yeah.
of filmmakers that are like, yo, let's talk. Let's talk. What you think? The people you feel like you trust, that you connect with, and you show them your latest film, and you go, what you think about it? And they can go, all right, bruh, I like this, but you need to change this. That don't fit. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, and that you can have that real
But it's hard.
growth.
It's hard because of the manosphere that's out there now,
Mhm.
right? The lone wolf, the alpha male, the blah blah blah, the blah blah blah, and it's feeding people this thing about this individuality, right?
Mhm.
That's only a part of aspect. That's only one part of being human, right?
But that's an
And
illusion.
yeah, but people have marketed this, right? Or all these people feel entitled to be the one, right? Think about, and you know what's the funniest people? The funniest thing is sometimes is people don't know their own weaknesses sometimes because they assume that they're great, right?
Mhm.
You ever see somebody, right? And then you're taught, well, whatever you wear is fine for you and your mental health, right? There's so many things. Like there's a good film, right? We can say there's some structural things for a good film, but if you make a film and people tell you it's great, just to tell you it's great for you, or anything you make is great because you made it. Don't worry about what other people say. Like that's partly right and partly BS,
Right.
right? The BS is you got to trust yourself and your creativity and understanding structures so that you can even break the rules. Like people break the rules and don't even know the rules,
Definitely.
right? And
Definitely.
then they'll say, well, yeah, but I was trying to blah, blah, blah. That's because they didn't understand 3-point lighting or the 180 rule and all this other stuff. And so they screw it up, right? They're
Mhm.
not bad boys where you can break the 180 rule and then orient everybody to the shot. They're
Right.
flipping the table and you're like, wasn't he on the left? I thought he was on the right. Because they don't know how to set the shot up and then say they're being artistic and all
I
that other
think
stuff.
that's the thing.
Right. But
But I
that's an arrogance that people tell them and that they believe that they're the one. And so when you sit in a room and we're having these conversations,
Mhm.
people have to be honest and accept the criticism as being like I had to tell a kid, I coach wrestling, I had to tell a kid, yo, I'm here for you to win,
Right.
right? I'm not telling you anything that's going to make you lose. I'm here to help you be better. And when he heard that, it was the first time he thought of it and had that perspective that way.
Mm. I think that's what it is, though. I think that the circle you select or fit into, you have to understand that they're there for you, you there for them. And it's about being better and putting out quality material
So I'm
and
asking
not
you,
getting
and you
trapped.
know this. You know a lot of people, and you've
Mhm.
interacted. How many people that want to be leaders, like directors and filmmakers and all this other stuff, really have a collective mindset?
Most of them, it's not about, they have a collective mindset of working with people,
Hmm.
but their thing is, and I can't speak for everybody, right?
Hmm.
But some of the people I know will be like, yo, I just don't want to put up with it. Like people get egos and they shouldn't even have one.
Yeah,
And that they'd be like,
but,
I can do bad by myself,
but
or I work with this person, but and then they don't, then they get really invested in their work. So they don't
hmm
have time for all of that.
yeah,
So it does vary. That's why I think I do what I do with the Black Filmmakers Lounge, is for having us come together and the people I know come in, and we
hmm
connect each other with each other, and we're constantly building our network. Because again, in business, your network is your net worth,
but
right?
they don't. But I don't even think. I think they understand that. But like, here's a given example. Like me and you talked about these camera setups, and you was like, bruh, in 3 months, I'm gonna hear you tell me why you getting rid of this next camera, right? Never was offended,
Right. Because we're just talking, we're brothers.
right? Exactly. And so I was like, no, I'm telling you, it's different because of blah 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 blah, right?
Mm.
And we're having an honest conversation. But can you like some people, if you be like, yo, bruh, yo, you've been changing for all these reasons. Um, Next month you gonna call me about something else. Man, get out of here. You don't know what you talking about. I'm not, people
Right, but we
they
have
take it
candid.
personal.
Right. We don't take it. Well, we have candid conversation. And still at the end of the day, you and I are talking.
Mm,
Whatever camera you get, I know you're a DP.
hmm
I know you do what you do. You can do whatever you want. We have to understand that our opinion isn't law.
Yeah. But
That's
people
the
have to
mistake.
also understand that too, right?
Yeah.
Like and not take it personal,
Yeah.
right? That's your opinion. Like we talk about why I like my Sony, why
Mhm.
you like your Canon, right? And we joke, we take shots at each other, but we can. But what I'm saying is, there's so many people who take it personal.
Right. But here's the other thing too. I haven't only used a Canon camera. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I mess with other
but
cameras.
but
I have a
but
preference.
that's you, right?
Yeah.
Like I talked to a little kid the other day, and I say little, but he's like 21 or so, right?
Mhm.
And I definitely have to
Yeah.
definitely leave on
Because you
this
got to
note.
go shoot.
Yes, he bought an R5, bought an R5.
Okay.
He's a hybrid video photographer for
So
sports.
he didn't get an R5C?
No, he got an R5,
Okay.
right? And I'm like, you still shooting with Canon, bro? And I'm joking.
Right.
And I'm like, and he was like, nah, man, the Canon. I said, the Sony, man, that autofocus will kill you. And he was like, nah, I got it because it is. He said, nah, he said the Canon autofocus was better.
Uh-huh.
And he just went off like blah. I said,
On an R6 Mark II, yeah. But yeah, go
yeah, nah.
ahead.
He gives me this BS reason. I said, hold on. So I'm gonna say this. The industry, because he watches all the YouTube videos. I said,
Yeah.
the industry where Gary Sony. So you smarter than everybody in the industry? And he thought about it. He was like, nah. So what the hell are you telling me?
Mhm.
Right? And then he was like, so I should go buy a Sony? I said, no. You should buy whatever you are comfortable with and you like. Just understand why you like it better and why you want to use it. Because all of these cameras are great,
Right.
right?
To an extent, yeah. They
Yeah,
got something, they lack something. It's like a car.
yeah. But you can't, don't tell me something just because somebody else got it or I buy it because I said it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then because you are your tool.
Yeah.
And if you haven't mastered your tool and made that choice because for certain reasons, then what you're telling me is BS. And that's all it was. And after that, he shut up and he thought about it. And I don't care if he stays with Canon or he goes with Sony. What I want him to do is be a creator and master his tool because then
I'm
he'll
about to
be
say,
even
yeah.
better.
Like if this guy told you get a Stanley hammer versus this company's hammer, would it matter?
Yeah,
Do you know how to swing a hammer?
yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, the cameras matter because they're technology,
Yeah,
but like you could talk about we didn't even mention Black Magic, right?
yeah.
But Black Magic have no ND filter,
Mm-mm.
right? So I won't be getting a Black Magic. Like
Ever.
that's just me. I'm not gonna get a and they're horrible. They don't have autofocus, I think, or they're
The
just
new ones
horrible.
do.
The new ones do, yeah,
Yeah,
but the other ones. So it's kind of like it's a give and take, but their screens are big.
yeah,
You know, they got massive screens on them. I'm like, that Canon, you need to get a massive screen. You're like,
yeah.
oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a give and
But they
take.
got an awkward form factor. Like I learned, unless you're slow rolling,
Mhm.
right? Building those out to a kit is weird.
Yeah, because they got that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the screen and all. And I'm gonna tell you, but here's my scary thing, because what I am scary about. The only batteries that people use are those Sony's MPF batteries for accessories,
yeah,
but camera bodies are starting to use Canon batteries and Canon lens mounts.
because their batteries last longer.
Yeah, it's crazy, and so that's what's scary. But I'm telling you, and I'm leaving on this note for
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
We got to close down. Nikon is scary right now for me,
Oh, buying
and
that
I'm
red.
excited. But I'm waiting because Nikon always had to me a little bit better image, color rendition.
I
Um,
never liked Nikon color. I think
uh,
it's a little bit more than gray.
Fuji and Nikon to me have some of the best colors. But now editing you can pull it, but just
Yeah,
it's like
it's like Canons go over to the magenta a little bit
yeah.
more than
But
others, right?
Fuji just does something to the film. I just don't like the X mount is not as, but and one of my this is one thing. Mike collects stuff. I'm gonna collect me a Leica. I don't care, and it's for nothing but me to say I owned a Leica and some Leica lenses. So if you're saying you're just buying it for the name, yes, yes, and leave me alone. So
uh, who uses autofocus?
everybody,
Some people use autofocus. If you're a one man shooter, a lot of people do use autofocus. But if honestly, if you're trying to make a like really good film, I think that you're gonna lease out some cinema lenses. Like that's you again, people are using photography lenses to shoot. But I think that when you really want to do that high quality film, you're just gonna invest into cinema lenses that have a T stop, not an F stop, right? Because those
Mhm.
are different. But and they're manual. They're not like electric or anything like photography lenses are.
Yeah. So
So
what they say is they have a string focused by wire, so
yeah.
it's not consistent.
So and then when you do get cinema lenses, you got to get the kit that they all match up together because you just don't want to switch one out. So it's just there's a lot of factors. We could talk about it one day when we get back. Um, but hey, we hope you guys. There was a question by Mark. We sorry we didn't get to about the four walling, but we'll bring that up later
What
because
do you
we
ask real
actually.
quick?
He asked, could you share more of your experience four walling at a theater? Did you did you only do it locally, or did you also try it in other cities?
Oh, locally, locally. I've only done it locally, and it's been successful. Because cities where you don't know people, you got to go in and market
Yeah,
and heavy market to get your return on investment. Like it's word of mouth, sometimes it's family, and you still have to market in a local area, but you already have a consumer base because you got the actors' families, and actors' friends, your friends and families. So instantly, like for me, this is funny. Like I just got married a couple, let's say about 5 years ago,
mm,
and I got 8 sisters, right? So before you even get into the thing, that's close to my family is 50 people. Like immediate family is close to 50 people if you add their
right.
plus one. So so if I four wall a place and it only has 100 seats, right? I know I can get a quarter of the seats filled just by telling my family,
Yeah,
right? And they're paying full price.
and then you want to see because we're gonna leave on this note,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna say this with four walling, I see a lot of people who have short films that are like 20, 30 minutes long or 5, 10 minutes long, and then renting out a movie theater. And it's expensive. You're overpaying something when you can get a hotel or a cafe
Yeah.
and for five, cafes might even cost you $100 or so and bring the same amount of people in. You do it in a theater because you want that theater experience. But that's what festivals are for, short films and stuff, because they block them. But if you're going to Fort Waller short film and you're gonna pay for space, my biggest suggestion has been to any filmmaker. If your short film is between 20, 30 minutes long, you need to align yourself with other filmmakers who have the same length of short films that give you at least 70 to 90 minutes.
Hmm.
And you all go in with your money and you pay for the theater together and you split the ticket sales from that. The other thing is you can also advertise other people's film trailers and charge them a small fee, 25, 30, $50, $100 to run their trailer before the films
Hmm.
play. And so that's marketing. That's how you find a cost effective way of using four walling in a theater. And I see a lot of people don't think that way. They just get a theater. Maybe they show a trailer for somebody they know, but they're not really
Yeah.
pushing,
And
and that's what hurts them.
yeah, and there's small theaters. Like in Delaware, there's a DuPont theater, which costs you cheaper than renting out the AMC, right?
Mhm.
And so you can probably get your show and have maybe 3 shows
Yeah.
in there for a cheap price. But I'm gonna leave. I gotta go. But let me say
All
one
right.
thing to Derek.
60 minute. There you go.
Autofocus.
Second.
Oh, yes, high. But when you say high end, you always got to think, what do you mean? High end. Some high end cameras have autofocus.
Like
The
the
Bar-
RE Mini,
yes,
right?
and the Burano has autofocus, and the red.
Komodo
No,
X.
the Komodo X and the one above it, Raptor, have
Yeah, Raptor.
autofocus. But the some of the other ones that are above that don't have.
Yeah.
But they're not made really to do a lot of running gun with some of those
The-
high end. When you're thinking, when we say high end, we're talking about like the
the-
Sony Vista, not Sony Vista, the above the Verano. I can't think of the name.
what?
It's the and it's the one that's doing a lot of movies.
Yeah, I can't think of it right now either.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I used a Red MX. That was a film
Hmm.
camera. That was for movies.
Yeah.
Um, was it Ari Alexa? No,
No.
that's the Mini, right?
Yeah. They
Or
got the Ari Alexa Mini and the Mini LF.
yeah,
Um, but they all, and that's the when LCD
Panavision.
format. Yeah, Panavision. But then there's another Sony. That's what they're making the color signs for the lower cameras from the big one. But
Okay.
I'll say this: normally, you're not by yourself when you're on a film set. You have a focus puller.
You have a camera one, and a camera
Yeah,
assistant and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. And then
because I
some
have
guys are
one.
just good.
Yeah,
Some
when I
guys are
used
just
it, I had a
good.
red. I had a puller.
Yeah. But look, I gotta go. I
All right, guys.
appreciate you.
Hey, guys, we thank you guys for hanging out with us. We ran over time. We were under time. We appreciate you guys for hanging out because we did run into technical difficulties. But thank you for hanging out with the Black Filmmakers Lounge. Hey, we want to remind you that Saturdays, 10 o'clock, we are here unless we have a problem. But the Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, where novelists, professionals come together to gain insight and perspective, education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black independent film community. So if you're not networking, you're doing something wrong. We hope you guys like, subscribe, share, follow, tell people about it. Join us next Saturday as we do what we do best. Thanks for the Q&A session. If you got questions, follow this. Send us your questions so we can put them in the next show. All right. We love y'all. And we out. Peace.